Happy fall, y'all! My name's Aneka, and welcome to my channel, Pack, Eat, Repeat. This is my favorite time of year. The weather's getting chilly outside, the holidays are right around the corner, and I've got a bunch of quick, easy recipes for you that would be perfect for your holiday potluck, to take to your Thanksgiving dinner, or even just to put in your kids' lunchbox for a little bit of fall fun. Now, most of these recipes are very quick, very easy, but there was one awful fail that I just got so stressed out, but I'm gonna show it to you guys anyway because I made it in my daughter's lunch and she actually ended up eating it. So hopefully I won't be too embarrassed when you guys see that one. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you'll be nice and ready for the next video that comes out. Ring the bell so you'll get the notifications, and also like this video so I'll know to make more like this. All right, let's get started. Our first fall-themed food idea are these Harvest Corn Rice Krispie treats. Just make your treats per the instructions on the back of the box, but when you get done melting your butter and marshmallows, you're going to add some orange food coloring, or I used red and yellow to get this great orange color. Now mix in your cereal and let it cool enough to be able to handle it. Now, in order to make this easier, I like to spray my hand with a little bit of non-stick spray. That way the gooiness doesn't stick to my hands and it's so much easier to shape. I found these great little silicone Halloween shaped trays at Joann Fabric on clearance for, wait for it y'all, I think they were about $2. So if you haven't hit them up yet for their Halloween stuff, get on it because the shelves are almost bare, but they still have some great sales there for Halloween treats. So I'm just going to put them in the molds and let them sit long enough for them to completely cool and set. Now I'm going to turn them out onto some parchment paper. And I'm going to melt some chocolate and some white chocolate so that I can make them look like these harvest corn. Now if you want them to look like candy corn, instead of the regular chocolate, you can just get some yellow candy melts or put some yellow food coloring in your white chocolate to get the yellow part. So I'm just going to dip the tips in there to get the white tip. And then I let this sit for a little bit so they could harden. But then it was getting late and I think I'm going to put them in the refrigerator for the second part to harden. So I just put them on a tray to make it easier to carry. So now I'm going to dip the bottom in the chocolate to get my brown part. And just decorate the pumpkins. And that's it. I popped these in the fridge. And in about 10 minutes, all the chocolate was nice and set. Next up, Campfire pizza. Now, in order to make this, I had to make some onion jam, and this onion jam is not quick. It's definitely easy, but it takes a little while. If you don't want to do this step, you could really just use barbecue sauce because that would taste really good with the rest of the flavors as well. But I'm going to make some onion jam just to have in the refrigerator. It also tastes good over a block of cream cheese on some crackers or even on like a ham or turkey sandwich. So I like to just have some in the fridge sometimes. I'll link the recipe down below so that you can see how to make it yourself if you'd like to. So I'm just gonna chop up my onions, and my eyes were killing me at this point. So I was hoping that I wouldn't cut myself in front of you guys because I really couldn't see. My eyes were tearing up horribly. Now I'm gonna take my oil, put it in the pan and just heat it up. And then I'm going to add some sugar to it. Now the sugar kind of clumps up a little bit, but eventually it melts and caramelizes. Now I'm going to add my onion and some salt and pepper for seasoning. And I'm just going to cook that down until they're nice and caramelized. Then I'm going to add my vinegar, and then it cooks for about 30 minutes or so. And it comes out this beautiful brown onion jam. It's a little bit sweet, a little bit tangy, and it's just delicious. So now I'm going to use it to make my Campfire pizza. This jam is still pretty warm because I just cooked it. If it's cold, it'll kind of be a little bit more of a jelly-like texture, but either way, it still tastes really good on the pizza. So I'm going to lay that down on my crust first. Now I'm going to add some mozzarella. And then I'm going to get ready to add my sausage. Now I'm going to use this chicken apple sausage because the sweetness that the apples give the sausage really works so well with the onions on this pizza. Now normally I would go ahead and fry up the sausage a little bit just to give it a little more depth of flavor and make it a little more crisp, but it's nighttime, I'm making lunch for my daughter, and I just really don't have time for that, and it tastes good either way. So I'm going to put my sausage on there, and now to mine, I'm going to add some gorgonzola cheese. This just kicks the flavor of this pizza up another notch. It is so good. The flavor is a little too intense for Acacia though, so I'm going to leave that part off of her pizza. Now I'm going to pop the pizza in the oven per the instructions of my pizza crust, and there I have it. So delicious. Next up, apple chips. Now these are so easy. If you guys have extra apples, you need to go ahead and make these. A package of apple chips in the store is almost $5 depending on where you go, and you will not believe how easy these guys are to make. First, you're going to slice your apple, and I started slicing this one across the length of the apple because I wanted to try to make some fun shapes in the middle, but honestly that turned out to be way more trouble than it was worth, and I felt like I was wasting a lot of the apple around the core. So I made another batch and I just chopped up the apple regularly and tossed the core. Now you're going to just mix a little bit of cinnamon and sugar together and just sprinkle it all over your apple. Now you're going to pop these into a 225-degree oven for 30 to 45 minutes. Take them out, flip them over, and cook them for another 30 to 45 minutes until they're dry and a little bit crisp. Then you're going to let them cool on a cooling rack and they'll get even more crisp, and that's it. They are so good. You can eat them as a snack or on a salad. They're just delicious. The next quick and easy fall-themed food idea is candy corn quesadilla. So you can have whatever you want inside of your quesadilla. I'm going to put refried beans inside of mine. So the first thing you're going to do is just cut a triangle out of your tortilla shells. Make sure you put two together so that they'll be exact and they'll line up with each other. Then you're going to fill your quesadilla with whatever filling you want, and I did this off camera. Next, you're going to grab your cheese, and I'm going to start with the white cheddar and just lay it right on top of your triangle. Next, you're going to use your orange cheese, and this will be your mild or sharp cheddar, whatever you chose. And last, you'll get your Tillamook cheese, and you'll have to slice that up. I haven't been able to find that already in slices, so I just cut a little bit off the block and put it on the bottom. Next, you're just going to use your knife and just go right along the edge of the triangle that you already cut in your tortilla and cut the cheese to match. Now you're going to put this on a baking tray with either foil or parchment paper. And you're going to bake these for about 5 minutes on 350 degrees. Now, you don't want to bake it so long that the cheese becomes runny. We just want it to get a little bit melty and gooey because what's better than gooey cheese? But we want it to keep its shape and color, and they come out looking like little candy corns. Next up, cinnamon apple Chex Mix. This is one of my favorite go-to recipes that I make every fall. It's great for a party, and you could even take these to Thanksgiving dinner as a little something for people to snack on while they wait for dinner to get ready. Now, normally I'll put some nuts in here, but I'm going to put this in Acacia's backpack for snack, and her classroom is nut-free, even though they're allowed to have nuts in the lunchroom. So I'll leave them out for right now. So you're going to take your butter, your brown sugar, and some cinnamon, and about 2 tablespoons of syrup. Now I'm using maple syrup, but you could also use corn syrup. And I will link the recipe down in the description below so that if you want to make this, you'll have the exact measurements that you need. Now I'm going to pop this in the microwave for 2 minutes, making sure to stir after 1 minute. And it makes this bubbly, cinnamon smelling ooey gooey sauce that is so delicious to smell, but is very hot, so be careful. So now I'm going to mix this so it's as evenly covered as I can get it, and then I'm going to pop it back in the microwave in 1 minute increments for about 3 minutes. If you're using dried apples, you'll want to put those dried apples in after about 3 minutes and then leave them in there as you microwave it for 2 more minutes. Now I'm using apple chips and those are already crispy, so I won't need to put those in the microwave process. So you'll do that 3 to 5 times until it's nice and evenly coated, and then you're going to turn it out onto some parchment paper, spread it out, and leave it there until it is cooled completely. Once it's nice and cool, you can put it back in your mixing bowl. And add all your yummy sweet treats to it. Now, I always put yogurt covered raisins into this, and because I want to make it a little bit more festive for fall, I'm also going to put some fall colored M&Ms into the mix. The chocolate goes really well with the sweetness of all the other ingredients. Now, as you can see on the side of the bowl, I made mine very cinnamony. Is that even a word? But if you don't love cinnamon as much as I do, just get regular Chex cereal instead of the cinnamon variety that I got, and it'll be a little less dusted with cinnamon for you. And that's it. Everyone is going to love it. Last up, caramel covered apple pops. Now, this was supposed to be my quickest, easiest recipe, but it was not, and I know now why, but in the moment it was very frustrating. But what you're going to do is you're going to chop up your apples, and I'm going to put them in a little bit of lemon juice to keep them from browning. Then you're going to get a lot of different things that you have in your house or that you want to decorate these with. I got caramel, mini M&Ms, mini chocolate chips, white chocolate, and I visited my happy place, the wall of sprinkles at Joann Fabric, and I got these fun fall colored sprinkles. So I'm going to use those to decorate my apples. Now I want to make sure these are completely dry, or as dry as I can get them, to help everything to stick a little bit better. Now I was going to use these lollipop sticks, but I actually found these little skewers. They're plastic, but they look like wood. I found them at my local grocery store on clearance, and I thought they were so cute. So I'll use those today. Now, per the instructions on the back of the bag, I melted this caramel with a little bit of water in the microwave, and that was supposed to make it so that I could dip things in it and have them be caramel covered. However, as you will see here in just a moment, every time I dipped it, that caramel just kept sliding right off the apple. My theory is that the inside of the apple was just too wet for the caramel, but honestly, I tried it with an apple that wasn't cut and it still didn't work. So I just got really frustrated and dipped the apples in what little bit of white chocolate I had. I did get a chance to sprinkle a little bit of caramel over it and decorate it with my sprinkles, and I actually think they came out looking pretty cute despite all the frustration. Now, I even tried to salvage this in so many different ways. I even tried to make little circles out of the caramel, and I popped them in the freezer to see if they would harden up. Then I was just going to lay them over the apple slices and tie them with a little piece of Twizzler pull and peel string, and I thought that would look really cute. Now, by this time, I was super frustrated, and this is me stress eating the apples that are not working. They were actually really good. They just looked horrible. So I got another apple and I sliced it up. I made sure to dry it really, really well, hoping that my plan to salvage this project would work. When I pulled these little caramel circles out of the freezer, they felt nice and solid. So my plan was just to lay them over the top and make them look like pretty little gifts. But as you can see, it only took about a minute or two and they were back to being gooey. So I quit. That's it. But I did get these cute little chocolate covered apple pops, and they were actually really good. They tasted a lot like those chocolate covered apple donuts that I did in my apple themed lunch video that I was completely obsessed with. So be sure to check that out. And that's it. Fall themed food ideas that are perfect for your kids' lunchbox, your fall potluck, or Thanksgiving appetizers. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.